So a couple of weeks back, I had this series called China Taking Over, where I did a deep dive into a couple of Chinese car manufacturers, and amongst those was NIO. And the video about NIO was the most heated one that I have had on this channel since we started. Because in the comments there was a real fight breaking out between real diehard NIO fanboys and the super critical ones, and I was amongst the rather critical ones. Anyways, ever since this video, things have gotten both far better for NIO and also much worse. So that's why today it's urgent time for an update. Stay tuned, we're jumping right in. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe, and as just mentioned before, things for NIO have gotten both better and worse at the same time. And for you to understand what the heck I'm talking about, let's go back in time to that video of late June 2025, and back then we have been sitting at a share price of 347 in NIO. We have just been slightly below our entry target zone, which you can see here in the video already grayed out because it has been in the past already by this point in time. And I have told you that in the overall structure, it is crucial for NIO to now make a lower low to finish all of this substructure here. You can see that we have back then expected the wave C of the overreaching wave Y of an overreaching wave Y of an overreaching wave Y of an overreaching intermediate wave Z of the long-term wave 2. So we are talking about a stack upon a stack upon a stack upon a stack of wave structures all inwoven into another, and we would have loved to see a final low to clear all of this garbage up and establish a bottom for good in NIO. And already back then the price action was just stubborn and hesitant to finally establish that bottom that should have been established. That's why back then I called it NIO's critical moment. And the moment has proven critical indeed, because as of today, we are not sitting at 347 a share in NIO, but we are sitting at 761, which is almost, no, it's even more than a doubling in price. So starting from 341, I said, so pretty much the bottom back then, pretty much the bottom ever since we've just been seeing gains. From this point in time, 125% in the profit. If we were to start from the upper boundary here of our target zone, still 50% in the profit. If we were to start from the optimum target here inside our larger target zone, which would back then been here this level, we would currently be looking at 90% in the profit. However, while this sounds like good news, and in the short to intermediate term, yes, it is good news, it is great news, in the long term, this is bad news, because all of this substructure that I just showed you here back in that video, all of this substructure still is yet not resolved, because we did not manage to print a lower low, which would have been crucial to resolve this substructure and wipe the sheet clean for real sustained gains in NIO. And this is then also why right now my hands are tied. I cannot call this the start of a new rally in NIO, not the start of a sustained rally in NIO. Of course, start of a bear market rally, yes, but not the start of a real sustained rally in NIO. I mean, look at this overall structure here. We have seen the wave 1 high back in November of 2020. We have ever then seen a corrective overshooting wave to follow, and ever since we have been in the making of a W, X, Y, X, and now still working on the final wave Z to conclude all of this. And then this final wave Z here still again with the understructure of a W, X, and I mean, look at this, we printed here the wave W in May of 2023, and ever since here this is not at all a clean resolving of this wave Y, which we wanted to see desperately. I mean, come back here with me. This is the wave W that I just showed you. The wave X is then up here, and ever since we have been working on this wave Z to be completed here, and this is no completion of a wave Z whatsoever. Everything, all the price action coming down here from the wave X high, this is just one single move, right? There is no substructure to it. That's why there is just no other possibility than calling this a wave W here and still waiting for this wave X to be printed and for this wave Y to follow through. All of this chopping action here, this is no foundation for a sustained long-term bottom in the market. I mean, sure, what we're seeing right now currently, this is a clear impulsive price action, which you can see here in this bright green 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5 to form, which would then lead into this overreaching wave 5 here in blue, which then in return is only the substructure to a corrective wave Z to conclude the overreaching corrective wave X. So even though from current levels there still is quite a bit of headroom to go, we're talking 20, maybe even potentially 30% if we extend just a little higher, but this is no long-term rally which we see here. Mark my words, the structure here is clear. This is no long-term bottom action which has been formed here, not at all. And having said all of that, please do not misunderstand me here. Long-term, we do see great potential for NIO. Looks like a promising young brand with a lot of potential and interesting tech in the pipeline, but we need a final lower low in the market to resolve all of this choppy sideways price action here. We need to wipe the sheet clean. And to give you even more of a perspective here, then let's again jump back here to the 2-hour time frame. Purely hypothetical, right? It's too early to conclude this target zone here for the final bottom here in the market then. But if we were to go somewhere in this area of 950 maybe even, so let's maybe call it 920, and we were to go down here to print a final lower low, let's say 220. Why not, right? So this would be another 75% sell-off from the levels, then from the top, from current levels. This would be roughly probably 65, 70-ish, what I would say, to 20, yeah, 70% also from current levels, roughly. So what can we expect then if we really are to sell off in that area of, still again, purely hypothetical. It is too early to conclude this target zone, but we have to print a lower low, and we can only establish this target zone as soon as we get confirmation in the price action that the low is approaching. But just for the sake of the argument, right? If we were to establish a new low in the area of 220, yeah, let's just call it 220, maybe even 250, starting from 250, right? This would then mean that only in the next wave we would see a potential 850% and all the way to this overreaching wave 1. Following this 5-wave substructure here, we would be looking at 3000% of gains in NIO. That's a 30x. That's how bullish we are long-term on NIO. But that is long-term. This is not for the short-term, because short-term we are still in this huge mess of unresolved substructure and no clear bottom having formed in the market. So if you are a hyper bull in NIO, please take my warning at this point. If you manage to get a good entry here in this target zone, for example, may it be at the upper boundary of a target zone or here on the optimum target down there, please consider taking a stop loss which you establish here. And if we are completely off with our count, great, I'm cheering for you. You can take all of these gains and enjoy yourself with them, but please consider that warning. Think about establishing a stop loss here, because if we are right and NIO is to make another lower low here in the market, we are talking 75% of losses from current levels before the coming huge bull run in NIO. And if in such a messy and difficult market you would like us to take you by the hand, you can feel free to check out the link down there in the description. There's a link taking you to our website where we offer daily market analyses and updates on 200 assets. Also, of course, the NIO stock. This is a free sample out of our daily analysis where we supply you with updates on anything that changes daily. So you can sleep well at night and have a bit more confidence in your investments and never miss an opportunity that might be coming up. So if that sounds like additional value to you, feel free to check it out. Up until then, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.